It's the clash we've all been waiting for. Keir Starmer and Kemi Badenoch face off for the very first time at Prime Minister's questions just hours after a shocking announcement. Donald Trump has pulled off a 2024 election victory, reclaiming the White House. And in a stunning twist, both Starmer and Badenoch have publicly congratulated him, calling his win historic, a term loaded with controversy. But the real drama unfolds in Parliament as Starmer and Badenoch clash over Trump, farmers and the state of Britain's defence, leading to explosive exchanges that have everyone talking. And yes, we've got an unbelievable clip for you where Badenoch delivers a scathing blow to Starmer. Don't blink. This is PMQs like you've never seen.
Mr. Speaker, we have heard him repeat the lines on the television, fixing the foundations and so on. But what does he say over and over again? But what does he say to farmers who are facing uncertainty about their futures as a result of the increased taxes announced by the Chancellor? I am very clear that we would reverse Labour's cruel family farms tax. What can he say now to reassure the farming community, who provide security for the whole nation?
Prime Minister.
I'm happy to help the Leader of the Opposition. If she's going to complain about scripted answers, it's probably best not to read that from a script. What I will say about farmers is this. I'm glad she's raised farmers because the budget last week put £5 billion over the next 2 years into farming. That's the single biggest increase, unlike the £300 million, which was an underspend under the last government. And when it comes to inheritance, the vast majority of farmers will be unaffected, as she well knows, as they well know. But that budget was about fixing the foundations, fixing the whole £22 billion that they left, and investing in the future of our country, investing in our NHS, investing in our schools, our hospitals and our homes. And I'm proud that that's the investment work. And if they oppose it, they should go out there and tell their constituents they're against that investment in the future of our country. That's the difference. A Labour government taking us forward. They're stuck in the past.
Keir Starmer's history with Trump has been anything but friendly. Just a few years ago, Starmer's opinion of the former US president was, to put it mildly, absolutely repugnant. He spoke out against Trump's remarks about women, immigrants and Muslims, calling his views divisive and dangerous. But now, with Trump back in power, Starmer appears to have taken a diplomatic 180. Today, in a carefully worded message, he's congratulating the president-elect on his historic victory and expressing his hopes for a prosperous UK-US alliance. This sudden shift hasn't gone unnoticed, and Badenoch was ready to pounce. The exchange began with Starmer attempting to justify his warm response, emphasising that his priority is the UK's interest on the world stage. But Badenoch wasn't buying it. She raised an eyebrow and said, "Prime Minister, not so long ago, you refused to have Trump over for dinner. In fact, you called him a danger to democracy. And yet here you are, congratulating him as if those words were never spoken. Should we really believe you've changed your views, or is this just convenient politics?" The chamber was silent for a beat as Starmer's expression faltered, but he quickly regained his composure and responded, "Ms. Badenoch, my focus is on securing a strong relationship with one of our oldest allies. Whatever our past differences, we must be pragmatic and put Britain first." But his words seemed to fall flat, failing to erase the scepticism in the room or among the British public watching this spectacle unfold. Then came the next shockwave. Badenoch shifted gears to question how Trump's return might affect Britain's farmers, given the potential for cheaper US imports that could flood the UK market. She pressed Starmer on whether he had secured any guarantees to protect British agriculture from a deluge of American goods, which could undercut local farmers. "Prime Minister, if this historic alliance comes at the expense of our farmers, is it really worth it?" she asked pointedly. Starmer stammered, replying that the government would seek safeguards to protect domestic farming, but his response was vague, lacking any concrete assurances. Badenoch seized on this, calling his response insulting to British farmers and accusing him of selling out UK agriculture for a quick political win. "Our farmers don't need empty promises," she continued. "They need a leader who will actually protect their interests." Her sharp criticism struck a nerve, and murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Badenoch was relentless, pushing Starmer further on his commitment to British interests, leaving him visibly rattled. Just when it seemed things couldn't get more intense, the debate took yet another turn. Badenoch turned her sights to defence, questioning Starmer's commitment to bolstering the UK's military presence. She pointed out that with Trump's re-election, the international order was once again unpredictable. "We need to be prepared, and that requires a clear defence strategy," Badenoch declared. She challenged Starmer on whether he was willing to make the hard choices necessary to defend Britain's place on the global stage. Attempting to regain control of the conversation, Starmer insisted that the government was fully committed to keeping Britain safe. He cited upcoming plans to boost defence spending, but Badenoch quickly interjected, "Plans, Prime Minister, or vague ideas? Because with Trump back in power, we can't afford to be unprepared." Her scathing critique of Starmer's defence approach underscored a growing sentiment among her supporters that Britain needed stronger leadership in uncertain times. The exchange escalated further as Badenoch challenged Starmer to outline specifics, which he again failed to deliver, leading some MPs to jeer and mutter in disapproval. Badenoch's relentless pressure had clearly put Starmer on the defensive, exposing weaknesses in his policy positions and leaving him struggling to regain the upper hand. As news of this fiery PMQ session spread, reactions poured in from all corners. Some applauded Badenoch's performance, calling her fearless and uncompromising. Others criticised Starmer for his inconsistent stance on Trump, with one commentator remarking, "It's hard to know which Keir Starmer we're seeing, the principled critic of yesterday or the pragmatic diplomat of today." Political analysts suggested that this exchange could mark a turning point in public perception of the Labour leader, raising questions about his sincerity and commitment to the UK's core values. On social media, reactions were mixed. Conservative supporters praised Badenoch for exposing Starmer's hypocrisy, while some Labour supporters defended Starmer's pragmatic approach, arguing that diplomacy required flexibility. Meanwhile, pundits pointed out that Starmer's evolving stance on Trump might reflect a broader shift in Labour's foreign policy, one that prioritises realpolitik over ideology. But it wasn't just the public who were reacting. Within hours of the debate, Liberal Democrat leader Ed Davey took to Twitter to denounce Starmer's embarrassing reversal on Trump, calling it a dark day for British politics. He added, "When the leader of our country fawns over a man he once condemned, it shows just how weak our values have become." Davey's comments added fuel to the fire, creating a new wave of criticism that threatened to engulf Starmer's carefully cultivated image as a principled leader. If you're as captivated as we are by the latest twists and turns in British politics, hit subscribe, give us a like, and stay tuned, because we'll be here to bring you every scandalous update as they unfold.